Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. So, Jay, bad news for a multitude of reasons in regards to Canelo Alvarez. Now, Jose Benavidez, I believe he was on Fight Hub, if I'm not mistaken, had an interview. The interview dropped today, and he talked about when David Benavidez was going to come back, and that's going to be somewhere late May, early June, which indicates that there's no opportunity for him to fight Canelo Alvarez. Now, of course, David Benavidez Sr. is upset about that. He's calling Canelo out, as he should. Now, one thing I can say about that group is that sometimes they're saying positive things about Canelo, other times they're not. To me, I think they were trying to, play nice with Canelo in hopes that he would eventually fight them. Playing nice with Canelo is not going to get you a fight because he already has an agenda set forth. Now, one of the things that he found to be or at least I found to be very interesting, is when the interviewer asked him specifically about Terence Crawford and how he feels about Terence Crawford being spoken of in terms of an opportunity to fight Canelo Alvarez. Now, there are rumors out there that Terence Crawford may have an opportunity to secure that fight, but from what I'm hearing, the front runner is Jermall Charlo. But anyway, David Benavidez Sr., he had this to say, essentially, basically saying, he's too little. Basically saying that Terence Crawford is too little to fight David Benavidez or any of those guys at 168 pounds. Yeah. And that, when asked, could Terence Crawford actually beat Canelo Alvarez, he said absolutely not. He's too small to be in the ring with Canelo Alvarez, and that we would see something similar to what we saw versus Jermall Charlo. Now, personally, I'm of the mindset that's not the case. I do not believe that we would see the exact same fight that we saw versus Jermall Charlo. I do believe Crawford is a little too small for Canelo Alvarez. I get why people think that he can outbox Canelo because of the stature, because of the range and things of that nature. And they saw what one of the greatest fighters to ever live, they saw what he did in terms of his ability to neutralize Canelo Alvarez. But that was Canelo from some years ago. Number one, he was a little bit younger. And number two, excuse me?
I thought you were talking about Dimitri Bivol.
Oh, no. I'm talking about Floyd Money Mayweather. And Floyd is the talent that, you see that he's a generational talent. Now, people are going to say Terence Crawford is a generational talent. I'm not going to argue that. But I don't believe Terence got the defensive prowess of a Floyd Mayweather, and therefore he'd probably struggle a little bit more with Canelo Alvarez versus somebody like Floyd. Now, but the fight wouldn't be like Jermall. Nah, man. Crawford got a different makeup, man. Crawford a dog, man. So the fight wouldn't be like that, dog. Even if Crawford lose, the fight wouldn't be like that, dog. It wouldn't. Crawford would be competitive. Crawford would be competitive. So I totally disagree with that. But I am disappointed to hear about the fact that, David Benavidez is not going to get this opportunity to fight him. I mean, that's very disappointing as far as I'm concerned. So, Jay, what's your thoughts about what he had to say in regards to the timing of David Benavidez coming back, as well as what he had to say about Terence Crawford and his lack of opportunity to beat Canelo Alvarez?
Yeah, I mean, I hate it for David Benavidez because he's been a mandatory for a couple of years now. We've heard all the excuses for Canelo. Oh, well, look what he's done. Look what he did. I'm like, he didn't fight anybody. He went on a European diet, fought those guys. David was a mandatory. Boo Boo was a mandatory. Back in the day, Jermall was a mandatory. Didn't fight him. When that European diet got cooked by Dimitri Bivol, Blaine said he was saying all type of excuses for that for a little bit. Then now we're looking at this. They said David didn't fight anybody. David fought Caleb Plant. He fought Daryl. He fought Boo Boo. Who else is he supposed to fight? He was once a champion at that weight class as well. So I think it's bullshit, and it's unfortunate that we won't get that fight. That should be the only fight next, that Canelo fight. If Canelo fights anyone else but David, people really shouldn't tune into something like that because it's well overdue. It's overcooked for David to get his shot at Canelo. And this is not saying David's going to just go in there and beat Canelo, but it's the best matchup for Canelo, and it's deserving for David. Now, as far as it was Jose Benavidez Sr. that said it. Now, you said David Benavidez Senior by accident earlier, but
Y'all said
Senior
Jose
was like,
Benavidez.
you said David,
Jose.
but
Go ahead.
Senior was like, the little legs. He's too little. I agree with them in that sense. You know, I understand they're about the same height, but Canelo's, you know, got more girth to him than Bud, and going up 3 weight classes. That's a
Pause.
bit much. Even for Superman Bud, you know, he's little, and definitely for David Benavidez. We've had some of the biggest Terence Crawford fans out there. They don't want to see Bud fight David Benavidez because of the difference in height, size, and stature, the whole nine. You know, not saying the skill set is better by David Benavidez. It's just he's too big for him. Same thing with Canelo. Canelo's used to getting hit by bigger guys. What happens when Bud gets hit? Because Bud does get hit from time to time. We've seen it several times before. If it was just skill for skill, I got Bud. If they were just completely equal, they're not. So I agree with them saying that Terence is too small for him. I don't agree with them saying that Terence versus Canelo will be the same as Jamel versus Canelo, to the same reasons that you said. Bud is a dog. Bud's going to go out on his shield. Bud's going to fight, not going to try to survive. But I agree. He's too small for Canelo. And the best fight for Canelo is and should be David Benavidez, without a doubt.
Yeah, totally, man. That fight is looking more and more like it's not going to happen between he and Canelo Alvarez. I really don't think Canelo has a whole lot of desire to fight him, regardless of what people have to say about Canelo. I just don't think he's willing to get into the ring currently with David Benavidez. Benavidez is looking... And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Canelo Alvarez is afraid of David Benavidez, because I don't think that that's the case, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, it's a business decision. It certainly is. It's a business decision. I think most fighters are not fearful of other fighters, but it's just a situation where, hey, man, I've been maximizing my dollars. Maybe it's a situation where he might say, okay, I'm going to wait till the end when it's about time for me to go ahead and hang him up. That'll be my last big fight. Maybe that's the case. I have no idea. But, man, I tell you, I've gotten tired of waiting for it. And like what we saw with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, sometimes the luster comes off of a fight if you don't go ahead and make it. It's one thing to allow a fight to marinate, but at some point, the fight spoils. Yeah, it spoils, right?
It's spoiled on that.
It's only so long you can let the meat stay in there and marinate before it spoils. So they're going to have to figure out something soon. But you guys tell us what you think in the comment section in regards to this particular comment from Jose Benavidez. Is Terence Crawford too little? Are you disappointed in the fact that David Benavidez versus Canelo Alvarez is not next? Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast, M Sports Media, and we are out.